term remastered has been thrown around countless times. Square Enix is probably the biggest offender of using this word with the re-releases of some of their most popular titles. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII was initially released on PSP in 2008 in the West and has been only available as a physical release ever since. With the release of Final Fantasy VII Remastered, fans can only speculate what a remastered version of Crisis Core would look like. Would they just smooth over the edges and up the resolution, which is probably the bare minimum of the remastered movement? But no, instead they pretty much remade the entire game to look similar to the recent Final Fantasy VII Remake. Square Enix seems to be cautious with the usage of the word remastered. Given that they don't use it in the title of this release, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, I'd say they didn't want fans to request this treatment for their future remastered releases. However, I would call this a remastered since the story, missions, and dialogue up to at least Chapter 3 have been identical to the PSP release. Now that we've got that out of the way, this is the best remaster that I've ever played. The limitation of the PSP includes a lack of additional shoulder buttons, which feel insanely natural on a modern controller. Accessing actions and materia has been improved with the new HUD. You can now launch attacks, dodge, and follow up with materia holding the L1 button and pressing the corresponding face button or shoulder button. It works and feels smooth in execution. As for graphics, I watched the opening and a few other story scenes side by side with the PSP release, and they played out exactly the same. However, the textures and character models look fantastic, similar to Final Fantasy VII Remake. However, I should say that this is still a PSP game, which means gimmicks and mission structures may not exactly feel like a modern title. It works, but the small dungeons and various monster hunting sections can remind you that this game was on a limited hardware. Regardless, I don't think this story is held back from the gameplay. The main story missions can be experienced without doing most enemy hunting missions. You may have more challenging time with limited actions and options, but the choice is yours, and I love that. I will say that the new English dub took a while to grow on me, but I'm liking it more and more with each chapter. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion sets a higher bar for remastered releases. It's the same game that I remember, story and mission-wise, but its improved graphics and controls bring it to this modern era of gaming brilliantly. I'd love to see this level of attention be given to other Square Enix remasters, but with the recent release of Final Fantasy VII Remakes, I can see why they chose to go all in this release. The story needs to be experienced, and I'm glad that Square Enix didn't cut any corners. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC on December 13th, 2022. Thanks for watching. Please read the full preview at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.